Hi everybody, welcome along. Today is Monday the 4th of January 2021. This is our lunchtime movement snack. If this is the first time you've joined us this year, then hello, Happy New Year. Welcome along. If you're on catch up and this isn't the one that you want, then as always, remember you can go find the one that you do want. Have a look on our Facebook group, click on the photos tab at the very top. It's up around about here somewhere. And that will list all the photos and all the videos there that we've done in order. It's a lot easier than trying to flick through the page itself, the group itself, and find the one that you do want. The thing with that is if somebody makes a comment, it goes back to the top of the screen. So that's the way you do it. Leave us a comment, let us know you've been passing through, and we'll come back to you. I'm going to leave you there, going to pop across and start saying hello to people. So first of all, hi Christine. Good afternoon, welcome along. I'm going to go with good afternoon this week. Welcome along to our lunchtime movement snack. Who else have we got there? Who else can I see coming on board? Is that Margaret? I can see coming in, and Ken perhaps coming in. Welcome along. Managed to get away from clinic a bit earlier today, so managed to get back home for you rather than in situ. So here we are, you find me at home. I've moved to the back of the lounge today, so you can see Dobbin, check on Dobbin, see he's still all right, still munching on me hair, look. Christine, good afternoon to you. Margaret, good afternoon to you. Pop us a comment as you come in, folks. Say hello, let us know you're here, and we'll get ourselves going. If you haven't already, have you bought yourself a towel? Probably preferably a bath towel, so something a bit bigger than we normally use. I normally say bring a hand towel or something like that, but something bigger is what we want, yeah? That's what we're looking for today. Say hi as you come on board, let us know you're here, what you've been up to. It's a sunny day here in Coventry today, so a little bit of sun in the sky. Let me just lose those sounds in the background. One thing I forgot to do in my rush to get here with you. Margaret Wood, good afternoon to you, from a cloudy Crooked Spire town. And Suzanne, good afternoon. Susanna, good afternoon to you. And Angela, good afternoon to you. You're watching with us as well. You're in from Dundee, Susanna. Hope you're okay. George, how's things with you? Day has flown past so far. Hi, Sandra. Just finished a Zumba class and ready for this. Okay. Hope you had a good Zumba class. A Zoom Zumba. Zumba Zoom, presume it was. Yeah. I don't know. Got a bit of a alliteration to it. It's always good to have a bit of alliteration, isn't it? Christine, good afternoon to you in from Llanelli, where it's a little bit cloudy by the looks of it. And Pat, very good afternoon from a dreary Eastleigh. Eastleigh, weather-wise, is dreary. Eastleigh itself, I'm sure, is not. I've been to Eastleigh, actually. Havant way, isn't it? Down that sort of way. Yeah, going back in time to... I used to work for someone else. Sandra will know who I'm talking about. Old big computer company. Rita, hello. Good afternoon to you. Welcome in from Bremen. Brennan even, not Bremen. Just renamed where you live. You know, New Year's resolution. Actually, one of my New Year's resolutions this year is I'm going to try and learn to play the piano. I've always wanted to, and I've never had the time. Now, you know, we've got a little bit more time on our hands, haven't we, by the looks of it, with the way things are going again. I think that's one of the things I'm going to look to try and do is learn the piano. Yeah, it was a Zoom, I can't even say it now, a Zumba Zoom, or a Zoom Zumba, one of the two. Hope you enjoyed it, Sandra. Do you wear the little skirt that's got the little discs on when you do it? It used to be the bane of my life when I taught a class in taught an exercise class in a studio after a Zumba class, because I'd go in and there'd be little blooming dots all over the place that are coming off people's skirts as they've been shaking their hips. Vivian, good afternoon to you. Anyway, I've got off my soapbox now. Good afternoon to you, Vivian. Cold and icy where you are, and it's raining in Brennan. Sorry to hear that, Rita. Let's hope it cheers up a little bit later for you. Carol, good afternoon to you. Welcome along. And that's Carol Watson and Carol Elliott in from Bedfordshire as well. That's a couple of Carols. A little bit late. Christmas is gone. Have a New Year, Carol. It's good to see two Carols coming in next to each other. It's like, oh, hang on. Yes. No, there's a third one. Carol Kent's in as well. I don't know. It's like the buses, isn't it? You wait for one and three turn up at the same time. Sorry, Carol, but that is so good to see. We've got Carol Watson, Carol Elliott, and Carol Kent all coming in straight after each other and saying hello to everybody. And yeah, Dobbin's here. Carol, you've got Dobbin. That's absolutely great. I have always wanted to play the piano. Yeah, that's going to be one of my. Fingers crossed, I managed to do it. Anyway, let's get ourselves ready to go, shall we? So if you want to lose the comments off the bottom of your screen, feel free, swipe them to the right and they will be gone. Just a quick hello to Maddie and Diane, who's just joined us as well. Okay, so we'll lose those comments off the bottom of the screen. And let's have our 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Monday, the 4th of January, 2021. This is our lunchtime snack, our second opportunity to put some extra minutes in that bag, yeah? And this is where we focus on strength and balance type activity. As always, standing or seated, choice is yours. Let's just make sure it's standing. We've got some fixed external support available to us. So I've got some fixed external support here with a fixed seat, and I've got a table on this side. I've also got my piano here if I need it. Yep, so lots of support options around me. In our seated position, we've got a strong, sturdy chair. Now, standing, we want to make sure that our knees are in line with our hips and our heels are in line with our knees. From there, it's a lift and lengthen out from these hips. So we're going to lift taller from our hips, bringing the shoulders up, back and down, creating this extra space between our ribs and our hips. Shoulders coming together at the back and then pressing them down. So we actively press down as if we're going to pop the shoulder blades into the back pockets. In our seated position, first thing we're going to do is bring ourselves off the back of the chair. Then it's a lift and a shift as we come into the front third of the chair. There we are, standing there. Let's go in for our circulation booster to start off with. So lifting up onto the toes and the ball of the feet. We're bringing our heels off. Rhythmic movements, flowing movements that are going to help build our circulation and boost our circulation. In standing, exactly the same, utilising our fixed external support if we need to. And then from there, let's take it a little bit bigger into a march. So bringing the toes off the floor this time. And what we're doing is bringing the toes off as the last part of the movement, placing them back down as the end of the movement. Now you can probably hear it's a gentle movement, so you can hear through the footsteps. It's not a stamp, it's not a loud movement. You can feel and see how we bring that off and then place it back down. In seated, a lot of activity here. Options, you might want to come back in to this heel raise, or how about a toe tap in front, just to give your hip flexors a bit of a release. We don't want any muscle fatigue there. In standing, we can see that we've got that movement there. Let's pop an arm movement in as well. This arm, we're going to drive it backwards from our shoulder. Elbow staying fairly close into the body. Now, for utilising our support, if it's to the front of you, make sure you finish one arm first before you place the other arm down and go for it. If you're using it to the side, then it's a stop, a pause, turn into your support, and then start with the other arm. In seated and in standing, as always, if we feel steady and stable, both arms, both legs together. So this flowing movement, we've increased the intensity by getting more parts of the body involved. We've not necessarily had to go faster, and it's not always about going faster. It's better to go bigger than faster. Yeah, so we increase that range of motion. Blood pumping around the body, we're asking more of it, so the heart's going to beat a little bit faster. We're going to find ourselves breathing a little bit heavier, but that's exactly what we want. We're getting the blood round to where we want it, to warm the muscles, to warm the joints and loosen the joints. A couple of minutes, 2.5 minutes or so, take a pause. Should feel as though we want to take a deep breath or a couple of deep breaths. So. Okay, and we are ready to move into our first movement for this. So this is where you want your towel. Now we're going to come to a seated position to start off with. So from standing to seated, feel the chair behind you and then lower with control into that chair. It's the point at which we can take a bit of a rest. Allow yourself to come down. Allow the shoulders to come forward. Then let's bring that back off. Sit tall, shoulders up, back and down, and lift and shift as we come into the front third of the chair. This is where we need our towel. We're going to do one side of the body at a time. So just roughly fold it, yeah, and then under your leg, and just raise your leg up so you're putting your thigh onto it, yeah. holding the other end of your towel. Now you want it roughly about halfway, but we're not going to have enough towel to do both arms at the same time. We want it so we've got a little bit of pressure there. So when we're holding it here, look, there's a little bit of slackness, but not a huge amount of slackness. Yeah. So you want some movement within there. So we've got some movement there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to lift that arm up and pull it towards us, coming back down. Yeah. Now you might see there that I'm having to bend the elbow, so I need a little bit more slackness. Can you see that? From here, I want this movement here. So we're trying to keep that elbow straight as we lift up and we lower down. Lift up and lower down. Now if you have any weights, hold your weight in your hand, and again this movement up and lowering down, a controlled movement. So looking at building some strength into those shoulders, you should feel this up into the upper arm and into your shoulder. So that lift and pull against your towel to get a little bit of resistance there. Keep the arm fairly straight, a little bit of a bend in the elbow, but not a huge amount. We don't want to lock it out. And again, if you feel you need to take it a little bit more, loosen it off a little bit more. Give yourself a bit more flexibility there, a bit more. It's this end point where you want to feel that movement. But we don't want the arm to come any higher than our shoulder. And it may be, range of motion wise, this is better for you. This is where you feel more comfortable, in which case, that's where you take it to. But at this point, you want to feel that that shoulder is working, and we're not tipping the shoulder to allow that movement to happen and bringing it down. If we want to increase the intensity, if we want to progress it a bit, bring it up and hold it. So feel that pull against that towel and hold it for up to a count of 5. Count it out to yourself though. Count it out loud, because when you're doing that, you can't hold your breath, and we don't want to hold our breath, releasing down. Once you've done 5, 6 or 7 on one side, change it to the other side, and away we go on the other side. Now you may find that you've got less mobility on one side than the other. So again, it's just about getting that towel into the position. So when you're here, you've got some slackness, and when you're up here, you're not having to bend. So you can see there I'm having to bend my elbow. So that's not enough towel. Probably here's the point to start, there, yeah? And then bring your hand a bit further down, so you've got this range of motion to work within. So we lift and we feel that pull within there. Coming back down, and again lifting, feeling that pull there. Let's think about lifting something off, up and putting it into a cupboard. We're doing a lot of rearranging of the wardrobes the last couple of days, having a bit of a tidy up, getting rid of old clothes and stuff like that, moving stuff around, created some space that I can then fill with other things, unfortunately. But you know, you've got this lifting to put things in place. If you're lifting some shopping off the floor, putting it into a cupboard, all those sorts of activities where you've got this frontal movement of bringing the arms away from you, and you want some strength within here. Sometimes we need to hold things away from us. Whenever we lift something, we bring it in close to the body. But if we're lifting something out of a cupboard, we're there to start off with, and that's where we start to bear the weight. That's where we want to feel comfortable with it. So that's our move number 1. Okay, from there, let's take it into our second movement. And our second movement is going to be in a standing position for those who are coming to a standing position. If standing is not on your radar, then there's a seated option we'll have a look at in a second. With my support, I've got my hand in front. You'll notice here of the muscle, because what I'm going to do is a lunge. So as I do this lunge, I want my arm, my hand to be in line with my shoulder. If I start here with my hand next to my shoulder and then lunge forward, what happens is my support's behind me. Look, so if I show you sideways, if I'm there to start off with and then I lunge forward, what happens is I've gone backwards. Whereas if I'm here and I lunge forward, I end up there. You can see that's a much stronger position to be in. What I want to do though is I want to take this a stage further. So what we're going to do is we're going to step forward into our lunge. Our support available, we take a step, heel toe comes down, there's our bit of a lunge, and then from there I want to push ourselves up onto that front foot and bring us into a standing position on one foot. I'm a little bit tight for space here, so let me show you sideways on. Let me just reposition this camera a little bit and see if we can make a better position of it there for you. How's that? Does that give us a bit more room? Oh, the trials and tribulations, eh? Right, so from here, I've got my step forward with my lunge. I'm into there. I've got my support available to me. My foot is flat on the floor, and I'm going to power through my front foot and bring myself into a one leg stand. My support available to me. Placing that foot down, and then if I need to, if I've got my support in front of me, I'm taking a couple of steps back. But if my support is by the side, I'm fine. I've got my support there. I lunge. My support is in line with my arm. And then from there, when I feel comfortable, I'm pushing through my front leg to power up. Foot is staying on the floor to start off with, look. So I'm not bringing that foot off to start off with. I'm raising this front leg, powering through my heel. And then when I feel comfortable, bringing it up to a one leg stand. And then taking that foot down to the side. So toe heel to come down to the side to enable myself to come into a supported position. Yeah, so a corrective step for you there. All right, so we lunge forward, foot flat on the floor, heel struck first. Once I feel comfortable, I'm going to power through that front foot to raise this back leg up, to straighten this back leg up. I'm still on my toes at the back. And that's when I come into my one leg stand, hold for up to 10 seconds if we can, and then step out to the side. Changing your support to the other side, and away you go. Now, within our seated position, what we're going to do is we're going to step forward, heel toe, not too big a step, otherwise you're going to have to lean forward too much. So, heel toe, come forward, slightly diagonal as well, to reach an arm forward if you want to challenge your balance. Once you're there, we're going to power through, and we're going to lift this other foot up. So we're going to sit a little bit taller to allow this foot to come forward, and then take it out to the side, sit tall, readjust your feet back in. So again, we've got that lift, that step with the heel coming down, rolling through to our toes, reach forward if we want to challenge our balance, lifting this foot up, sitting a little bit taller, taking the foot out to the side, toe down, heel down, stepping back in to reset. Yeah, so there's our second movement, and that is challenging our balance. So this one, you know, sometimes we're going to have to have a bit of a lunge step to reach forward to collect something perhaps. What I want to do is establish us into a position where we feel that we're challenging our balance, so we can try and improve our balance and then know how to recover from it if we need to. So with support by the side, powering up a little bit, toes on the floor still, so I'm still in contact with both feet, lifting to that one leg stand, and then when I feel ready for it, stepping out to the side, so our correctional stepping. And this might be, if we're reaching for something and we start to lose our, we start to reach a little bit further, we have to come onto that back leg anyway and come up onto our toes. It's then making sure we feel comfortable actually taking a step out and feeling comfortable with that movement there. Movement number 2. Okay, back into a seated position if you want to. You can do this in a standing position. Now what I'm going to ask you to do with your towel this time, bath towel, corner to corner. Yeah, so it makes it that little bit longer. You see how we increase the length a little bit. And then from there we're going to take it round our back, as if we're going to dry the back when we get out of the shower. Yeah? And this movement here, again, we're going to have to do one side at a time, unless you've got a really big bath sheet or something. Now, if you have a resistance band at home, you can do this movement with a resistance band. What we're going to do is work on our chest. So what I'm going to do is bring this one back so it's here, and keep this arm here. So my elbow is in level with my shoulders, yeah? This other arm, I'm going to extend it forward and push away, keeping the shoulders square. So I'm not pushing and turning, yeah? From here, I'm pushing away and I'm feeling that resistance within that towel. Releasing and bringing it back. I'm going to do 4 or 5 on one side, exactly the same in our seated position. So here again, we've got this set up, we've got it round our back. We've got this other one held by our chest. The other arm, we're going to extend away, keeping it fairly close into the body. So we work into the chest, not the shoulder. Bringing it back in, bringing it forward and back in. Now, if we want to increase that intensity a little bit, a couple of things we can do. We can come forward and we can hold it up to a count of 5. Again, breathing out and counting that so you can't hold your breath. Or we can bring it forward and then we can bring it across the body. and then back and back in. So we've got the forward push, we've got a movement across the body towards the other shoulder, back in and release. And exactly the same in your standing position. If I show you without the towel, here's this movement look. So we're pushing forward and then we're bringing it across the body, back in and releasing. This other hand is staying here holding that towel. And as far as your towel is concerned, what we're looking at, we're corner to corner, so it should be a smallish amount of towel you're holding. Yeah, fingers round, thumb up, and then thumb on top to hold it. However, if you have any struggle as far as grip is concerned, make it bigger, so you've got a less of a grip. A bigger towel means you've got less of a grip to make there. Yeah. What you don't want to do at any point, and this is exactly the same with the band if you have it, is wrap it round. We don't want to do that. Reason we don't want to do that is that puts pressure across our skin, and as we age, our skin gets more fragile. Yeah, it's one of the natural things that happens as far as aging is concerned. So what we don't want to do is wrap that across because we don't want to damage the skin, but also we don't want to cut any circulation off to our fingers. And again, if we wrap things around before we actually put some pressure into there, you're potentially creating a tourniquet, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so there are our 3 movements for you today. We've looked at our front of our shoulder, we've looked at our chest, and we've looked at our balance and our strength through our legs as far as that lunge is concerned, and then using the power to come up and support ourselves on the back foot as well as the front. So this movement here, look, when we've stepped into our lunge and then we've pushed the power up, we're still supporting ourselves on that back leg. The weight is through the front leg a lot, and then that extra push through to bring us into that one leg stand with your step out if you need it. There we are, that's our 3 moves for today. That is your movement snack for lunchtime on this Monday, the 4th of January 2021. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Keep crowbarring in some additional activities and keep mobility and keep motion and activity on your radar throughout the rest of the day. Crowbar in some of those additional activities if you can. And you have Bex with you at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I'll see you again tomorrow at 12. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.